I know what you're thinking. Another 3DS video? The channel is called Game Boy 101. 1 second, please. Now shut up. The 3DS is now 13 years old. Is it worth it to get one in 2024? I would argue yes. Because now that the Switch is almost done with its life cycle, that means there are a lot of games that were left on the 3DS console, with one of the biggest series, not only of Nintendo, but in general, Pokemon. The Switch has 2 generations of the mainline entry Pokemon games, and the remakes of Diamond and Pearl too as well. But let's get the elephant out of the room. Come on, get out of here. The older titles are not available on the Switch. The 3DS has every other generation from 7 and below. Even if they weren't directly released on the system, they were playable since the DS games can be played on the 3DS. The first generations released virtually, and Ruby and Sapphire being the only ones not technically on the system, but the remakes are 3DS games, so those are covered. The 3DS generations as well, and that's pretty much all the Pokemon generations, up to the Switch ones. In total, according to the internet, there were over 1,600 games on the Nintendo 3DS, from first-party titles to third-party, and a few exclusive titles for the new 3DS systems. If you're a fan of Nintendo games, then the 3DS is worth it for you, for the games, or if you want to play games that were exclusive on the 3DS systems, like RPGs that were abundant on the system. Many Switch games are actually ports or sequels to games from the 3DS. Bravely Default, the upcoming Luigi's Mansion 2 HD remaster, was also on the 3DS. And since the 3DS can play DS games, that is a whole nother library of games available on the system. The Switch also has DS ports like Phoenix Wright Trilogy and the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, and the remakes of Diamond and Pearl count as well. Now, of course, the 3DS and DS, 2 screens, are the main culprit of porting difficulties, I imagine, but there are titles that would have been really great on the Switch. Most online lists of the best 3DS games feature games that were exclusive to the 3DS system. Majora's Mask 3D, Super Mario 3D Land, Ocarina of Time 3D. Granted, some of these are available on the Switch via the Nintendo 64 Online, but they're not the 3DS remasters. The entire Mario and Luigi RPG series can be played on the 3DS. Metal Gear Solid 3 was playable on the system, but now the Switch has the trilogy ports, Mario Kart 7, Kirby games, Metroid games, and yes, the latest entries are on the Switch of all these series, but if you want to play any of the older games, then you do the 3DS. And sure, maybe one day we'll get virtual 3DS games, but that'll be in 2065 at the rate Nintendo goes. Maybe things will change with the Switch sequel, but most of the time, every generation they make has to start all over with the virtual console games. The Wii U had DS virtual games, and the Switch just released 64 games not that long ago, so we still need GameCube and Wii, and well, that'd be cutting too much on their profits since they like to remake or port games from that generation like Super Mario Sunshine and Galaxy. I could be nitpicking, but there's no denying that the 3DS plus the DS library is huge, and the main reason to buy a system is to play the games. Plus, you can play Call of Duty titles on the 3DS through the DS titles, so checkmate, Switch. Lately, the 3DS community has been making a lot of different apps and ports to the 3DS, bringing the online back, adding enhancements, and quality of life features. Sure, the prices of the 3DS systems have skyrocketed, and at this point the Switch is the same price or less, but you can always find an original 3DS for under $100. I have a video on the prices and guides on buying a 3DS if you want to check them out. And for what it's worth, the 3DS also has some features the Switch doesn't. A microphone, a camera, the 2 screens as I mentioned earlier, the Street Pass feature, the 3D effect, and well, it depends on what 3DS model you have. I have the old 3DS, and I got the new 3DS over a year ago, and my only regret is not getting it sooner. As you can see, I can't shut up about it, and if you're on the fence about getting a 3DS, do it. It's worth it. Whoops, dropped it. Whoa, not this time. Whew. Almost crushed my 3DS again. Good thing I got this granola bar here to refuel my energy. Wait, if the granola bar is here, then what did I bite? No, not again. Not the 3DS.